Hi, my name is Edgar Aliferov, and my experiment idea is rebellion and obedience versus ethical behavior. My motivation from this study came from the concept of rebellion and obedience being a truly interesting set of concepts. Stanley Milgram literally shocked the world when his experiments on obedience revealed that people are much more obedient than expected. Different countries show different levels of appreciation for rebellion and obedience. America is a strong example that rebellious behavior is prevalent and praised. Our media constantly reports on and admires the resistance of authority. There are other countries, such as Russia, however, that seem to have a strong appreciation of the opposite behavior, which is obedience. Unethical behavior is strongly influenced by societal factors. So, how do these societal factors influence ethical decision making? How does appreciation of rebellion or obedience affect ethical behavior? How does perception of rebellion or obedience affect ethical behavior? For this study, there are three important definitions: obedience, which is the compliance to authority, convention, or control; rebellion, which is resistance to authority, convention, or control; and the definition of unethical behavior, which is the misuse of public office for private gain. The experimental design involves subjects being told that they will receive a designated payoff price of $20 for completing a persuasive essay. When subjects arrive, they are split into four treatment groups. Treatment appreciate obedience. Subjects are given a written prompt that discusses the importance of obedient behavior. Subjects are then asked to write a persuasive essay, which argues for the importance of obedient behavior, thus simulating an appreciation of obedience. Treatment appreciate rebellion. Subjects are given a written prompt that discusses the importance of rebellious behavior. Subjects are then asked to write a persuasive essay, which argues for the importance of rebellious behavior, simulating an appreciation of rebellion. Treatment perceive obedience. Subjects are given a written prompt that discusses the high level of obedience in today's society. Subjects are then asked to write a persuasive essay, which argues that their society is highly obedient, thus simulating a perception of societal obedience. Treatment perceive rebellion. Subjects are given a written prompt that discusses the high level of rebellion in today's society. Subjects are then asked to write a persuasive essay which argues that their society is highly rebellious, thus simulating a perception of societal rebellion. Next, the subjects will be told that three participants do not show up for the essay, and thus they have an opportunity to earn 20 times 3, which is a $60 payoff. Subjects will be given a die and told that the winner of the game is the one that will earn the payoff. This is the same dice game that we played on the first day of class, except for instead of having 10 rounds, we're only going to have 5. This dice game is described on this slide, and we can clearly see how we are able to gauge ethical behavior using this die game, because somebody can choose up or down depending on their level of ethical behavior. So my hypothesis is that for treatment appreciate obedience, we will not yield earnings significantly higher than the expected value, because people will act ethically when they appreciate obedient behavior. For treatment appreciate rebellion, we will yield earnings significantly higher than the expected value, because people will act unethically when they appreciate rebellious behavior. Now, for the next two treatments, we're not going to yield significantly higher earnings than the expected value, because I believe that the perception of obedience or rebellion does not matter, and it will not change, and people will remain ethical. So why is this idea important? Depending on which treatment, we'll be able to pinpoint aspects of obedience or rebellion that influence ethical behavior. For example, if my hypothesis is correct, then our experiment provides evidence that an appreciation of rebellious behavior will lead people to act unethically, and we must ameliorate these effects by providing an appreciation of obedient behavior, because we also have evidence that an appreciation of obedience leads to ethical behavior. Also, my hypothesis would provide evidence that the perception of society as obedient or rebellious does not affect ethical behavior, and thus the number of media stories that exhibit obedient or rebellious behavior do not matter. Many of the governments like to use the excuse that perception and the culture of rebellion is very important, and thus they control the media, but my study will serve as proof that only appreciation is important and perception does not matter.